right, we're going to get right into this. I've been chomping at the bit to have my good friend and who is our first guest. This is episode 1 of Unfiltered with Steve Sanchez, and with everything that's going on right now in the world, specifically the economy, crypto. I want to talk about that for a moment. I'm going to have a good friend of mine, financial expert, financial educator. You've heard him on my radio show before, but he's here with me via video podcast. Rick Geiler joins us. Rick, what's going on, my brother?
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Now, before we get started, I'm hearing some things about the dog. Your dog? What's happening? I'm a dog guy, as you know, and we just had to put our dog down about 3 weeks ago. It was a real tough one. What's the deal, man?
Like losing a family member.
It is losing a family. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I don't know. We take her to day camp because she's a big player. She's a boxer border collie. Really active dog. She's not happy just laying around the house all day. And my wife, Kiana, she works full-time. I work. So we take her to PetSmart, or there's another spot, Doggy District. Day camp. She gets to play with the other dogs. Yesterday, we got a call. Hey, Sonny isn't playing, which for some dogs may not be that big a deal. But for this dog, what the hell's wrong with her?
Yeah.
So we're not sure. She was laying on the ground. They said she was shaking. They sent a video of she's shaking. Well, I took her out for a walk this morning, and she laid down, and she was panting. It wasn't shaking. So I checked the symptoms. I suspect she's got valley fever, which dogs get around here. It's a fungal thing they get from sticking their nose down in gopher holes and stuff like that, the dry fungus. And so we're going to take her in and get her checked out, and we might have to get her on some antifungal, but I think she'll spunk right back up. This thing can drag on for apparently months or a year.
Yeah, it can. If it is belly fever. Yeah. Sometimes, look, and I'm going to tell you this, I don't know what kind of snacks and stuff you give the dog, but, I'll tell you this. Our sponsor today, ironically enough, is Avalon Meat Candy out of Las Vegas, and they've got, Rick, this dog jerky.
Okay.
That is made of 100% Angus beef. USDA, they've got an inspector that comes in once a day. This stuff is edible for humans, but we gave Rocky this. We got rid of the sausages and some of the stuff that you buy off the shelf, and we're giving him this. This dog loves this. It's good. It doesn't have all that crap in it. So I'm going to give you a few bags so you can take to your dog. I'm not saying that it's the snacks, but how about if it is something like that upsetting the stomach and giving them a digestive, thing. So this Avalon Meat Candy dog jerky, I'm telling you, is really good. We'll talk a little bit later about Avalon Meat Candy. They're the sponsors of this video podcast today because their human jerky will change your life. But I guarantee you, your dog's going to love this. Even if the dog has belly fever, definitely want to get
she can still get you a bag of that a day, I guarantee you. She'll eat 2 steaks if you let her.
Well, what's so funny is because it's, the scraps when they trim the good meat, and it's not the fatty scraps, it's good pieces that just don't look like they should for the bag. And they make it in a way without all the sugars and all these things for the dogs. And, humans can eat it. If you're starving on a desert island and you got that in your backpack, you're going to be okay. I tasted it, and it's very bland, but not bland for the dog. The dog loves it, and that's the whole, most important thing.
Right. Yeah. Dog biscuits, dog cookies. Have you ever seen those as sandwiches?
Oh, yeah.
They look just like Oreos.
Yeah.
When our dog trainer said, go ahead and taste one. It's not going to hurt you. It tasted kind of like a blend between a cookie and a cracker. It wasn't nearly sweet. But other than that, it tasted fine.
You know what it tasted like? It tasted like what the English like to drink with their tea.
Yes. A crumpet kind of.
Very bland.
Right.
Well, look, belly fever, there's another fever going in and around the country, and that is the Trump derangement syndrome, or the fever. I'm not going to get into a lot of the things that are going on, except a couple of things specifically. That's why I have you on. This week, crypto has been on everybody's mouth, ears, reading it everywhere. 3 bills, they all got declined in committee. They're not going to go to the floor. Trump's upset. He wants, this digital currency. Rick, I'm not real convinced that we should have a centralized banking digital currency. I'm not saying that this is where this will go. I've got a feeling, though, it's where it'll go. I'm not against crypto. I own Bitcoin. I think it's great. It's speculative. I think people should really be cautious when they do anything like that. Of course,
Mhm.
any investment really. But what do you make of the crypto week that we're calling it? There's a Shark Week. This is Crypto Week.
Right.
Trump's not happy, but should we be happy? Even though he's not happy, shouldn't we be happy that maybe we're not going down this road right now, at least?
Well, the question is, are we going to embrace crypto as we know it now, I mean Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the things we know now, or a central bank sponsored electronic currency?
Yeah.
That's the real question. So if we start gravitating as a nation, and I mean even the other countries, the euro and China, if we gravitate towards this crypto, which is to a degree the benefit of, there's a limited number of Bitcoins. That's always, one of the battle cries you hear about, Bitcoin's got to be worth X amount of dollars because there's a limited number.
Yeah.
Well, we know there's not a limited number of US dollars, and there would not be a limited number of US e-dollars, or whatever they would name the electronic currency if we switched over or integrated that. So it would still add that flexible money supply, which is good and bad. I mean, the bad part is, as we see, we're $37 trillion in debt. And, every time our politicians seem to need to placate a constituency, they throw a few $100 billion in some direction, and they add another chunk to the debt. So this would be, would we have a fixed supply of whatever e-currency we want to?
No.
And how could we possibly transition to that? So
I guess what I'm concerned about, and I'll get your take on it, are we to go down a rabbit hole? Here's the problem I have with digital currency. Not crypto. It's speculative. It's an investment. Mm-hmm. But if we centralize this and somehow we start saying, let's go to these digital dollars and not the paper dollar, PayPal and Apple Pay and all these other initiatives, so to speak, and we've all used them, Venmo, whatever. It's all electronic. It's money. It's tied to your bank, whatever. The concern I have is that, are we going to give the wrong people power over our dollars? Because how about if they don't agree with our political views, or someone's a gun owner and buys too much ammo and then they freeze their digital currency until further notice, until they get clarity on your purchase? I think it takes away freedoms. Am I going down a rabbit hole here, Rick? I mean,
absolutely, it is a can of worms. And I know you lean towards libertarian, so you don't have a ton of faith in our U.S. central government to manage every aspect of our lives. So do we really want them able to track and control every aspect of our life, or the major aspect of our lives? What we spend our money on and where we save our money and invest our money. It's bad enough now that they'll track your bank account, they'll track transactions over $10,000, all these other things. But we still do have that degree of freedom in that, hey, if I owe Steve Sanchez $1,000, I can either send him a Venmo or a Zelle or whatever, or I can meet you at the coffee shop and hand you $1,000 in cash.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
We still have that freedom. The more we go to electronic currencies, we already have mostly 90 whatever percent are electronic transactions, but there's still that percent that we still have pure freedom on. Yeah. Once that goes away, where does it end? Where do we still have control? So I think the two main things we would consider in this are one is, are we going to have a Fed or some kind of central bank regulating how much is available, tightening and expanding the money supply as they see fit, or maybe even to prop up their political candidates if they want to, cut rates half a point right in front of election, for example. Not that we've ever seen that happen, but do we want some central authority controlling our money supply, or do we want the market controlling our money supply?
Yeah, that's my concern.
Government.
Why is Trump pushing this so much? I know Trump is saying now we got to be in front of China and we got to be in front of other countries because we do it better. But look, and I love Trump. I voted for him 3 times. I think most people, that are conservative or libertarian minded, even independent minded, know that he was a better choice than Kamala. But this big push. We got to do it better than China. We got to go digital. I don't like it. I don't like it. Rick, going back to COVID when everybody was pretty much on lockdown, you started seeing banks get a little squirrely against conservatives, and I hate to say it, it's true, it's been proven. Even a bank like Synchrony and Discover were looking at gun purchases and starting to disconnect from customers. This is the big concern I have, but is it too late? I mean, it seems like everything is all digital, and we're just going to all have to eventually acclimate to it. Do you ever see or foresee in the near future where, because they did it with gold, where all your dollars need to be turned in, they'll no longer be viable, everything's digital?
Mm-hmm. Well, again, that goes back to what's the impetus for the government to do that right now when they can essentially spend whatever they want to spend and, just print more money or, issue treasuries, essentially is what the printing money we keep talking about is. Just issue more treasuries to pay for whatever massive deficits they want. If we go to some kind of all digital crypto style limited supply currency, they're going to lose that ability. So I don't see how that's possible in the near future. And it's not just the U.S. The European governments, the euros, flexible money supply, and they go into these easy money supply things. The Chinese, obviously it's a pegged currency, pegged at whatever the CCP wants to peg it to. So it's hard to envision that happening real soon. I think in the meantime, we're going to stay with the crypto as we know it, maybe gaining momentum. You notice that never buying a Tesla with Bitcoin and stuff like that we talked about a couple, 3, 4, 5 years ago, kind of during COVID.
Yeah.
Hey, you can buy a Tesla with Bitcoin now, and so obviously this is going to snowball, and pretty soon you're going to be shopping for groceries with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Well, that's really hasn't panned out.
No, it didn't materialize. No, I see it more in the casinos in Vegas. You see some of that.
A little bit.
Or maybe you see it at, the Rolls Royce or Bentley dealership. That very limited, very exclusive. No, we're not seeing it. This is why I like gold and silver too. I mean, I've been a big advocate of gold and silver. I think it has its place. I just think that, when Nixon got us off the gold standard, it really flipped America upside down and sideways. No accountability, no good stewardship. There's the question that's always asked: is there really gold in Fort Knox? I don't know. I don't know what you think about that, but
we did that big audit a while back, but I didn't really see the results of the big audit.
We just have to take their word.
Don't worry about it. The gold's where it's supposed to be. That's kind of where we left that.
People don't like that anymore. Mm-hmm. Do you notice Republicans, Democrats, and independents alike now wisened up, even with this Epstein file thing, Trump saying back off, it's a big hoax. People are not letting this stuff go. They're like, hey, wait a minute here, man. Stop treating us like babies. We're adults, for God's sakes. We are the people. We are the government. We control the money supply. We pay your paychecks. By God, if we want to ask you 10,000 times, 10,000 different ways, you have a responsibility to answer us and not dismiss us. People are pissed right now.
Yeah. Well, particularly on the Epstein thing, I think every time they tell us, including Trump, who was Mr. Disclosure, hey, we're going to open up the books on everything, and all of a sudden, well, there's no there. There's nothing, which pretty well tips the hand that it's the opposite. There's too much there. There's a can of worms that's going to set off a fire. Mixing metaphors. It's going to. Where do you control this thing? If you start letting the Epstein files out, who knows where that leads? It's not just a few pedophiles and sex traffickers. There is a can of worms there, and it's about power and leverage and blackmail and whatever else, and it's been going on for decades. It's too big a mess. Even Trump has to now tell us, oh, hey, that's old news. Let's not talk about it. That doesn't add up to me.
No, and I don't like it. I don't think you like it. I don't think anybody likes it. And it doesn't mean we don't support the president. We do, but we have the right to question authority. It's our right as our God-given freedom as an American to question anybody we want that we elect. Period. End of story. Okay, so let's look. We crypto speculative. You're not saying. I'm certainly not saying go buy it right now. Look, I bought crypto at 43,000.
Right.
And it's 117,000. It was 121,000 the other day. So, I've had some fun with it, but I know it is not part of my overall retirement plan. It's not part of any of that. but there are good options for retirement, safe money. Tell us a little bit about that, Rick, because the stock market is at an all-time high.
Mhm.
We don't know if the stock market will crash tomorrow. We don't know if there's going to be a real estate market crash. We don't know. But people that are older, that feel they've got their stuff in place,
Mhm.
there are options for them to maybe protect some or all of it and kind of be in the stock market without being in the stock market, right?
Right, and there's a few ways to do that. There's for not to get too detailed in all the technicals, but there's derivative, basically futures market driven instruments out there where you can put your money into a buffered fund, buffered note, where it's basically like a mutual fund, but they use some of the earnings off of that instead of the paying the dividend out or building the dividends up. They use some of the dividends in that to buy hedging, to
Yeah.
buy downside protection. So you're giving up a little bit of the interest on the top, but they're cushioning how much you could lose. Those are valuable tools. Trick like all this stuff. I mean, you like insurance products. I like insurance
Yeah.
products.
Yeah.
Indexed annuities, fixed annuities. Those will give you better than the rate interest the bank will, or they'll give you a chunk of the upside market with no downside. You know, you hear these on infomercials. You know, the informational dinner seminars, all that.
Yeah.
You know, they'll talk about, and this is real. But all those are good strategies on the annuities. You know, the buffered accounts, you got to be careful. You got to get a hold of, you got to make sure you're dealing with an advisor who
Yeah.
has access to the full market of those and can shop for you and fit the time frames and the things you need. The annuities, same thing. You know, most advisors, me included, we have access to the same stuff. So, and most of them are good, but they don't all fit everybody's situation.
Yeah.
So make sure you're talking to somebody who's going to tailor, hey, I got this money, here's what I want to do with it. I want to start drawing it out over this time frame, or I wanted to have it go to my kids or grandkids, or I want to make sure I don't outlive it. Whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Make sure you're tailoring it to your situation, and you're not just going to a guy who says, "Oh, this is my favorite one. I put everybody in this one."
No, I'm glad you said that because I've had real world experiences with you.
Mhm.
I've sent people that I know and care about to you. Even fans of the show have been sent over to you because they were looking for alternatives. One in particular, a widow, young, didn't know her husband was going to get killed in a car accident not too long ago. You changed her life. I mean, yeah, you left her life insurance, which was really important, but the way you structured her with one of these index annuities gave her this large amount of bonus day one, and it's safe and the thing's cooking. And you know, there's been others that have been fans or people close to me over the years we've sent to you, and you literally got them out of risk and you put them in a structured plan. So I want people to know out there that are watching this, there's alternatives. Don't let your stockbroker tell you you have to be in the stock market until you're 85, 100 until you die. No, that's not the case. So it's important to have info and information. Now, I know, Rick, you've got a series of, Retire with Leverage, the book. You've got, white papers, the SWAN strategy, the sleep well at night strategy. A lot of things are available in your library at your website where people can go check it out, download, get some freebies. They can schedule a time to visit with you for free for a few minutes on the phone, right?
Yeah, well, that's probably the best thing. Yeah, go ahead and look at some of the things we put out. We do regular videos, podcasts. You know, I do some thoughts of the day on social media.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah, just get a feel for who you're talking to, who you're dealing with, and if you think I can help you, go ahead and just schedule a 15-minute call. No obligation, no anything. If we've got more to talk about, we'll schedule another call, or we'll start, screenshotting some statements back and forth, or making some copies and coming up with ideas. So,
well, right here on the screen at the bottom is your website, askrick.info. So people can go there, they can get your library, they can follow you on the social media platforms, because you bring out some daily good nuggets every single day. So go there and go to his website, askrick.info. You can go download some of the stuff for free. You can chat with Rick, Follow him on his social media platforms. I think you're going to get educated and get some thought that the guy at the bank is not going to tell you, the guy with the big Wall Street firm. Look, I'm not against these people, but I think we're in an age today where an influencer like yourself, Rick, that has a lot of credibility over the years, has done a lot of different platform speaking things and articles and just real world day-to-day working with clients. I think this is where people feel more comfortable these days, more boutique, more personalized, as opposed to being just a number with a big bank somewhere, right? I mean, that's how I see it.
Right. Well, I don't have any allegiance to any supplier. Whatever fits the situation is what I'm going to recommend.
Yeah.
And these, a lot of these big firms, we won't necessarily name them, but they get the marching orders. Here's what's on our preferred list today, meaning we've made a commitment to sell or move money into X, Y, and Z. So get on the phone and start moving money into X, Y, and Z. I don't care where you put your money. I mean, I got no allegiance to anybody. All I care is that we're giving sound advice for your situation. So
absolutely.
We can go wherever it needs to go.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rick, I appreciate you hanging out with us. Look, good luck with your dog. We talked about Avalon meat candy, Rick, earlier. I'm going to send you a few of these for Sunny. This is the dog stuff. But the sponsor for this video podcast, episode 1, is Avalon meat candy out of Las Vegas. This is garlic parm. I'm telling you, this stuff will change your life. It's chips. I know there's some other podcasters out there that are offering these carnivore snacks. These are absolutely 100% beef chips. They are delicious, off the chain, 25 different flavors, healthy, it's good for you, USDA inspected. You can go to avalonmeatcandy.com to make your order. Sanchez is the promo code to get a discount. But this is definitely what you want to be doing. Don't get the stuff off the shelf at the Circle K. It's garbage. Sugar, a lot of sodium. You need the natural stuff. All right, Rick, I appreciate you hanging out with us. We're going to have you back on again. People know where to get you. Continue to keep plugging in, giving us that good info out on the socials. We'll have you back on the podcast again real soon.